We just have a quick question here from Asanka asking what is the FAANG stocks or FAANG stocks that he's heard us refer to so many times, and what are their significance for currency traders? So thanks for the question, Asanka. So the FAANG or FAANG is just an acronym for some of the biggest tech names. There's also FANG Plus and also FANG. And if you look at the first letter of the names, the normal FANG FAANG is simply just Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. Now, even though Microsoft is of course one of the largest tech names, it isn't necessarily included in the normal FANG, but it is included in FANG Plus, and it's basically just a composition of the biggest tech names within the Nasdaq 100. Now, the main reason we look at these names individually, or rather grouped together in this group, is because of their weighting in the big stock equity indexes, especially like the Nasdaq as well as the S&P 500. If you look at something like the components of the Nasdaq 100, for example, just Apple, Amazon, and Microsoft alone make up well over 30% of the entire index. Because it's not price weighted like the Dow. Instead, it's weighted by market cap. So due to their size, these names can create massive reactions in both the Nasdaq as well as the S&P 500. If we see strong moves in either direction for these names, it normally has a big effect on the overall movements that we see in the Nasdaq and the S&P. And when we have big moves in indices like the Nasdaq and the S&P, it can of course have a spillover effect into other indices as well. So we can use them as a type of leading indicator for the Nasdaq and to some extent the S&P 500. And since they are big names, any major rallies or sell-offs in these names can affect other names as well. So it's not a perfect leading indicator, as nothing really is in the trading market. But it is a great help to see where they are trading and keep up with any major moves within these names. Now, from a currency point of view, they are important as just another additional layer to add to your risk analysis, to your risk sentiment analysis, rather. As we know, any sudden and big shifts in these names, as we know, that can affect the Nasdaq, and as we know that can have a spillover effect into the other markets. We can use that and basically incorporate that into our analysis, especially if we want to or planning trades to that include things like the safe haven currencies like the Japanese yen or the Swiss franc, or the high betas, of course, like the Aussie, the Kiwi, and the CAD. So just to stress again, it's not a perfect indicator of where the overall or bigger stock market is going. It shouldn't, for example, necessarily affect something like the DAX or the Euro stocks as far as equity indices go. But because there are these big names, they can often create a type of snowball effect. If we see massive moves in them, it can lead to a risk on or a risk of sentiment. If we see big enough moves in them, and obviously that can have a spillover effect into the rest of the US equity market, and then spill over to the rest of the world global equity futures markets as well. So basically just another additional layer. And on the screen, you'll see we have a couple of them on the bigger names: is Apple, Amazon, Tesla, Netflix, Facebook, Microsoft, Alphabet, and then Intel Corp. Some of the big names out there that normally creates the biggest flow. So hope that helps with the question there, Asanka. Any others, please don't hesitate to let us know.